I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickboxer.
Here's a rewritten version of your text, improved for clarity and style. Joe Rogan just dropped a bombshell about Jake Paul, the so-called boxing prodigy, turning down Andrew Tate's massive fight offer. And get this, he didn't just reject the fight. He reportedly walked away from a whopping $3 million payday. So what's the real deal here? Is Jake scared of taking an actual challenge, or does he only step into the ring when the odds are stacked in his favor? It's starting to look like the only thing scripted here is his so-called boxing career. Let me know if you'd like further tweaks.
If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy, entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate. Google it if you want to know more.
Don't worry, I'm breaking down all the reasons Jake Paul turned down Andrew Tate's savage callouts and how Joe Rogan exposed Jake's play it safe strategy. Buckle up, because this story is loaded with drama, ego, and some hilarious truths you won't want to miss.
As a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know?
Work. Go. Work. Come on, Marcus. Keep going. Work.
Come on, fight.
Make it. Come on, 20 seconds to work, Steve. Let's go. Come on, work.
Work. Good. Work.
10 seconds.
Work.
Jake Paul loves to claim he'll take on all challenges until a real test comes along. Conveniently, he ducks out every time. Who better to call him out than Joe Rogan and Andrew Tate? If there's a handbook on dodging legitimate competition while bragging about being the best, Jake Paul probably wrote it.
Yeah, he'll never do that though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract, and two,
he's not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might.
And it's funny to say like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never.
When Andrew Tate, former kickboxing champion and professional provocateur, called out Jake Paul, the internet went wild. Tate wasn't messing around. He laid down a $3 million bet and issued an anytime, anywhere challenge. But instead of gearing up and stepping into the ring, Jake hesitated. Not the dramatic, suspense-building kind of hesitation. This was the awkward, texting his PR team for an excuse, kind that left everyone scratching their heads.
Somebody like me, he'd mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems.
Then came Jake's brilliant pivot, challenging Mike Tyson. Yes, the 57-year-old retired legend who hasn't been in his prime since the days of VHS tapes. In his infinite wisdom, Jake decided that fighting Tyson was a safer bet than facing Andrew Tate, who's not only in fighting shape, but also unpredictably dangerous. It was a calculated move, no doubt, but it screamed one thing louder than anything else: fear. And let's be real, we all know the Tyson fight would be scripted, something Jake couldn't pull off against someone like Tate.
When you see some of these crossover fights, obviously I know that you and Jake Paul have had your disagreements. Do you think that Jake's gotten better as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing.
Let's not pretend this is the first time Jake Paul has dodged a fight he couldn't control. His entire boxing career has been a masterclass in cherry-picking opponents. Former basketball players, check. Retired MMA fighters with zero boxing experience, double check. And now Mike Tyson, a retired heavyweight with enough fame to sell tickets, but not enough speed to pose a real threat. It's a pattern so obvious that even Jake's most loyal fans are starting to take notice. Joe Rogan didn't hold back on his podcast, calling out Jake's carefully curated strategy. He's fighting old, undersized guys, Rogan said, summing up what everyone else was already thinking. Jake Paul refuses to fight Andrew Tate because Tate is younger, faster, and far more unpredictable than anyone Jake has faced. Rogan went even further, suggesting that Jake's reluctance to take on Tate proves he's more focused on protecting his record than proving himself as a legitimate fighter.
Two brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
Don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know the kind of men we are.
Now let's talk about Andrew Tate for a moment. He's not some washed-up internet personality chasing a quick payday. Tate is a former kickboxing world champion with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. When he challenged Jake Paul, it wasn't just a fight offer, it was a dare. His $3 million bet wasn't a publicity stunt, it was a statement. Tate knew Jake wouldn't take the fight and wanted to make that fact as public as possible. But Tate didn't stop there. When Jake jousted him, he doubled down, calling him out again and highlighting the painfully obvious. Jake's career thrives on fighting opponents he can script. There's a difference between training and being a fighter, Tate said, delivering a brutal truth aimed squarely at Jake's carefully manufactured image. Prime fighters destroy hobbyists.
Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker, strong mentality. Sorry, Tristan Tate is the weak link.
I say let's
He got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
A MMA double tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a
Jake's silence after Andrew Tate's second challenge was deafening. For someone who never stops hyping his fights, Jake suddenly had nothing to say. Fans, who had been buzzing about a potential Paul Tate showdown, were left scratching their heads. If it feels like Jake just got rocked by a verbal 1-2 combo, slip the jab and smash that subscribe button. Because this saga is delivering more hits than Jake ever will in a real fight. Let's break it down. Jake Paul chose to fight Mike Tyson instead of Andrew Tate because Tyson was the safer option. Sure, Tyson is a boxing icon, but let's be real. He's 57 years old and long past his prime. Jake knew a fight with Tyson would sell pay-per-views because of the name, not the challenge. He also knew he could control the narrative and, most importantly, protect his carefully curated record. It wasn't about proving himself as a legitimate fighter. It was about playing it safe and staying in the spotlight.
You lose to an old man who's retired. I live in the real fucking world, Jake. There's a whole bunch of fighters out here who live in the real fucking world. Men who are dangerous and dedicated their lives to this sport and don't have a fucking fraction of the money you have because you've managed to become a fucking...
Now contrast that with Andrew Tate, a fighter in his mid-30s, in peak physical condition, with years of combat sports experience. Tate is unpredictable, highly skilled, and completely uninterested in playing Jake's game. If Jake stepped into the ring with Tate, it wouldn't just be a loss on the line. It would be his entire facade, risking exposure as the hobbyist he's been accused of being.
Keep going. Come on, work. Go. Work. Come on, Marshall. Keep going. Work. Come on, fight. Make it. Come on, 20 seconds to work, Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back when addressing Jake Paul's decision to fight Mike Tyson instead of Andrew Tate. Jake Paul doesn't want to fight anyone he can't control, Rogan said, cutting straight through Jake's carefully crafted facade. And he's right. Jake's entire career is built on control, controlling his opponents, controlling the narrative, and controlling the spectacle. Andrew Tate represents the one thing Jake can't control, a genuine challenge. If Jake thought his fans wouldn't notice the dodge, he was sorely mistaken. Social media erupted with criticism, and the backlash was relentless. Fans called him a coward, a fraud, and far worse. Even some of Jake's loyal supporters admitted that ducking Andrew Tate while opting to fight a 57-year-old Tyson was a terrible look. The internet doesn't forget, and this move might just be a shadow over Jake's career for years to come.
Boxer on the planet is
Jake Paul.
Why?
I mean, who's doing it?
I mean, if Mike Tyson says let's do this, are you down?
100%.
I'm gonna make Mike my girlfriend.
Would you fight Mike Tyson? Again, no, because he's now old, and it would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match, so to beat him when he's past his prime just feels dishonorable, and I'd feel dirty for doing that, so there's no amount